Time to wrap it up. June the 12th, 2014. We had a pretty good day. Had some volatility to work with in the E-mini. It was down. We had the potential mom move out of the middle here if you took the spread out. We are in the September contract. We're not in the June. The June would have come right out of this area here, out of the 45 area. So we had bad news today. And this morning we said, you know the news, you got the trade. It's the way it always is. And today we saw both the financials and equities react to the fundamental news, as did gold, as did euro, and as did the crude. In addition to the negative news, we have Iraq, which, it's in a high state of flux right now. Hard to say what's going on, but it's not good. The Sunnis, the people from Tikrit, the ex-army that felt disenfranchised are going to bottle up the current government in Baghdad and in the Shia strongholds. And so you'll have the Shiites with more people surrounded by guys that know how to, that are pretty handy with a gun or two. So I read where 800 of these terrorists took over the city of Mosul, and there was 30,000 troops garrisoned there. And again, we lose state-of-the-art equipment, and it goes right into the Iranian hands. We lose the helicopters, we lose the drones. I mean, it is mind-blowing what is being allowed to happen. It's just, you can't do this without negative ramifications, and they're going to come our way. I put an article up there about what's going to happen in Iraq. Nobody knows, but the Kurds are autonomous enough that the Iraqis never took them on. The Fallujah, Ramadi are back in the hands of the bad guys. Now Mosul is, and Mosul was an al-Qaeda hotspot early on in the war. It was also the city that had the best chance to put together a coalition where both sides could live together, but that's out. So we had news, and we had the war heating up in Iraq. We now have big-time fighting in Iraq and Syria. You have the Shias backed by Iran. You have the Sunnis backed by the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia. And things, you never know what's going to happen. It could break out in Lebanon. It could break out between Israel. You don't know. So anyway, that uncertainty will keep the markets a bit unhinged until the dust settles a little bit. We do have news tomorrow. We've got PPI and core PPI up 0.2. Nobody will pay any attention to that. Michigan sentiment, they'll probably pass on that, but Michigan sentiment at 82.9. That's usually a stock market barometer. And when the stock market is up and the Michigan sentiment number is not, they pay attention. So PPI probably will not play. So based on our way of looking at all markets, the first place we start out is the F1 screen. Today's lower high, lower low, we're sellers. Now, if they can't extend the range and take it lower, we can trade from the long side, but we want to get short first. There's two possible areas of support, 14 and down here at the buck to 0.05. So this would be our second support point. This would be our first support point. So this one says, find a place to get short. Looking at the F2 screen, it will be confirmed there also. And because both time frames are in congruence, they agree, you have a stronger trade. Don't have much in the way of news to help the market out tomorrow. Can't see anything out of Iraq helping the market out. Might get a push from the Ukraine. Supposedly 3 tanks are on the roam in the eastern Ukraine today. Not on the Ukrainian side, but on the rebel side. And then China, the Philippines, and Vietnam have been quiet for a couple of days. We had a boat ramming, I think, two days ago, and it's been off the news. So there's a lot that could destabilize the market. Okay, we have a very, very clean break at 25, and we're currently at 21. So this 25 to 27 area, maybe 24. So why don't we make it 25 plus or minus? We want a sell failure to take out 25. And then our second zone is going to be the 29 to 31 area for sell 2. Try to catch the start of the new distribution lower. Now, it shows that we've rejected prices below 20, but we have this low volume area down here at 14. So I'm going to put 15 to 17 is buy 1 for Globex. And then we're going to put the 10 area plus or minus 1 for buy 2. But things are getting interesting once again. It's absolutely amazing to me how you can allow these situations to happen. But again, like I said, if you read a lot of military history that I do, like I do, and the reason I do it is because everything, the time frame is compressed. If you don't do the right things, you're dead, and it's real easy to see the mistakes that other civilizations and nations have made, and you don't want to do that. But if you don't read history and if you don't know that, you can't understand it. And it's amazing how short the market's memory is. We were attacked by the Taliban-based Al-Qaeda group. They had a free base to roam in Afghanistan, and then to hear our ex head of state and our current head of state saying these 5 terrorists that they released won't have any impact on the United States. They'll have impact on Afghanistan. I mean, where in the hell have they been? And how do you get in a position like that, being that damn ignorant about what's come before? And in these, I hate to say it, but these damn Valley girls that the administration has put as spokesmen at the State Department, I mean, you talk about lack of experience. They might be bright as hell, but they sure as hell don't know what they're talking about. Okay, higher low, higher high, and we want to be buyers of weakness, see if the market will go higher. But if it doesn't, we can get short. And tomorrow's a pause day. It's post-auction. The average auction price was 124.03. We're well above that. We do have resistance starting at 20. And this market, when I did my notes, we were at 18.5 was the high, so we're extending the range up. Now, our country, from time to time, is run by the best and the brightest. These kids are very, very intelligent. They're very, very bright. They're book smart. They regurgitate what their professors tell them. And they are very, very smart, but their practical world experience is pretty limited. And they used to talk about the difference between a C student, a B student, and an A student. And A students were basically relegated to staff or academia. B students could be pretty high up in a corporation, but probably not run it. And the C student, the guy that had street smarts, moxie, and savvy, had a better chance of being a CEO than anybody else. And the reason for that is just, I mean, you got the moxie and you got some common sense. And so a guy that's just can walk on water intellectually and can spin the world mathematically probably is not the leader of the organization, not the leader of men. You need them to do the work and to grind the numbers, but you need a little more savvy than that. Okay, we're up at 20. I was hoping to buy the 12 to 16 area. We'll move it to 13 maybe 17. I'd like to get it done at the lower end of that. We have these single prints. The ideal buy would be 12. So this 12 to 16 area, maybe 13 to 17 will be buy one, and then it'll be 9 or better. Okay, the knob spread widened considerably today. It really stepped out. It went out to 11.12. We started at 10.28. That was a pickup of half point on a spread in one day. Can you imagine? These spreads trades can be very, very lucrative. We came into this week wanting to be long the knob spread because of today's auction, and if you did that, as of the close of business today, you would have been up 12 to 16.30 seconds, depending on how you put that on. And a lot of people, you know, you kind of shake your heads at spreads, and they don't, they're slow. Who can imagine that? But you got to remember, 75% of the big money that's put into the market's done on a spread basis. And the reason for that is it reflects fundamentals, and you don't get caught up with specific security risk or blindsided by news. They tend to trade the same direction, but one of them does it a little bit faster than the other, reflecting the fundamentals. So that could be another bow in your quiver, so to speak. Okay, we want to sell failure to take out 36.04. And your backup point's 12, so the next sell would be 7 to 11. Last rotate down was 26, so we're in the same. You'd like to do it towards the 20 to 24 area. I'm going to do that on this because we got a little extra volatility. Maybe we can buy 21s to 25s, and then 13s to 17s for the breakout. 7 to 11 sells pretty comfortable. That is resistance. I'd sure like to get the buying done closer to 20 than to 25, but we'll see how that plays out. Okay, gold. A couple of things driving gold. I want to put it on the F1 screen once again to big picture because we're breaking out of, we were capped in the 60 area, now we're breaking out. So you need to bring in the long-term perspective, and you got a higher low and a higher high on this one, so that we're looking for a place to buy it. 78 is structural resistance, and if we get through that, then we can trade as high as 96, 95, 96. Lower tax revenues for the United States, more printing of the dollar, and then war. I mean, when I look at what could happen all the way from Mali and North Africa through Pakistan and Afghanistan, now that this fighting is just exploding in the Syria, Iraq, I mean, it's just, nobody knows where it's going to stop. So here's one possibility right up here in the 96 area, and then taking out that low volume number at 78. And it's hard to see on this one because of the scaling. There's $5 between that. So 78 to 96 is pretty good resistance on this one. This one tells you to be a buyer. Looking at the F2 screen, that Michael Totten has a great perspective on the Middle East. He spent lots of hours on the ground in Libya and in Lebanon, and he has first-hand knowledge of the area before he did that. So he brought a pretty good background to it, and he writes well too. But that article that he put up on Iraq, I mean, nobody knows. Okay, selling failure to take out 75, 77 is a reasonable trade. but you'd want to test and you'd want to see it rejected. And the high volume number up here at 83, selling the 80 to 83 area would be sell 2. On the buy side, last rotate down was 70, so 68 to 70, buy 1. And then we have, what, 63, 65 for buy 2. Looking at the euro, the dollar was off a bunch today because of a weaker economy, and I don't understand how he got into Yale. He had to buy his way into there, but yeah, he does. I mean, let's sit down and talk about it. He tries. I don't know. It's just you just sit back and shake your head in disgust, or I do anyway. Neville Chamberlain might be kind, Charles. That might be a kind characterization. But crude is strengthening right here at what 106.63. So I think we have a shot at our 107 overnight, depending on what comes out of Iraq. You really don't want to be short overnight this contract. I don't see any way in hell for a peace to break out in Iraq or the genie to be put back to oil. How are you going to get Sunnis and Shias to sit down and talk to each other? You do it like Saddam Hussein did. You just kill enough of both sides, and you're always killing them, and they can't ever get going. But these guys are operating and roaming with guns now. It's going to be like the Civil War in Lebanon for a while. And that wasn't pretty. I think we're going for stops above 107, so we'll make sell 1, 75 to 107, and then 25 to 50 for sell 2. Last time we had war breaking out over there, we got up very close to 110. That's certainly within reach. Got a very clean break here at 30, and we're at 65. So 106 even, 106.25, buy 1. A little wiggle room. And then 75 to 106, which might turn out to be the trade of the week in crude. There's a difference in Neville Chamberlain and Carey. Chamberlain was an honorable man, a fool, but an honorable man. And Mr. Carey is not. He's right up there with Jane Fonda and the rest of them, as far as I'm concerned. And the euro. Dollar weakness, for obvious reasons, the price of oil and weaker numbers, and it rallied the euro, and the euro really didn't give them up. So here we are looking at the structure, and we talked about earlier. I think you're right on that, Chaz. Got a great sense of humor. You got a lot of people from the far side in this room. Probably why we're all here. Okay, so we got this break in the volume right here in the 75 area. Got a new move that came out of 90. And obviously 136. And then the next stop up there is 20. So we got this 75 to 90, then the buck to 20 area as possible resistance. So the market's strong. We're going to see what happens in England. So a 75 to 85 sell. That's pretty bold. Let's go a little bit higher. And then 136, 136.10 for sell 2. Don't really like the buy side, but the last rotate down was 50. We're at 66, so we'll make 50 plus or minus 5. It was resistance this morning, so that probably will work for us, and then 25 to 35 for buy 2. And that does it for June the 12th. 75 to 85 sell is bold. You'd want have sellers with you. The 25 to 35 buy is not so bold. Okay, that's it for June the 12th. We'll see you bright and early in the morning, 6:45 a.m. Central Time. You all have a great evening, and hopefully the audio goes with the tape this time. Later.